Hey there. It's another beautiful day and I've got my coffee. Let's watch some stuff.
Did we have technology thousands of years ago? Many theories on historical civilizations and how they were able to build and maintain their structures and societies are discredited due to the lack of evidence. What many people fail to realize is that the more advanced a civilization becomes, the less effort they would put in. When we look at ancient Sumerian texts, what we find today is cuneiform writing into stones. These are much harder to destroy or get rid of, which is why we were able to find and decode it today. But think about it. In 2024, we don't write in clay or stones to record our information. It is all printed out on paper or stored digitally, which can easily be erased, burned, or stored on a tiny stick. So the theory is that this could have easily been the case thousands of years ago. Over the last 100 years, we have found many strange artifacts, some that have mechanical components that don't make sense. When X-rays were done of these mysterious artifacts, they detected that it was over 2,000 years old and had computer-like components.
I love the way this theory makes my brain move. So you think of our civilization now, how we have all of our information in like server farms, and it's basically all digital, unless you got something on paper, right? So we've got all of our information and our history stored in that manner. And in the event of a cataclysm, how much of that is going to remain? Probably not much. So the people that do remain after that time will want to leave the future a message in a manner that cannot be destroyed, like ours was, by carving it in stone, just like we're digging up now from the previous civilization who probably had their information stored in the same manner, probably a similar manner because we don't know how they evolved, right? And had it all wiped out. And that's why they left us the message. That is super cool. I totally dig that. I think that's great. Hey there. I just wanted to take a second and thank you for joining me for today's coffee talk. If you're having a good time, I'd hope you'd consider hitting that subscribe button. Come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
1988 anomaly theory. So
Yes.
it goes like this: that in the year 1988, a strange phenomenon swept across the globe, one that went unnoticed by the public but caused ripples throughout the fabric of reality. It was a year humanity faced an unrecorded extinction, and everything we know today is built on the echoes of the lost world. That this event was so devastating that it caused like a reset in the timeline, a glitch that the universe itself is scrambling to trying to fix. The reason why I thought that was interesting too, because I've always seen like not even so much as Earth, but the space and the universe itself as a whole. It kind of reacts like I guess like how a human body would when an injury happens. It kind of like it repairs itself. Like say for example, if you're a human, like as a human being, you get cut, your blood automatically kind of just like creates blood clots. At least like say if you cut yourself, your blood clots up to keep yourself from bleeding more. That's how I see it is too with this 1980 anomaly, where like because the world ended this horrific way in 1988 and things are being put back together to kind of fix it. It's kind of like doing patchwork right now. It's like by nature itself is just like kind of like fixing itself.
This is the first I'm hearing of the 1988 theory. I've heard of, I don't remember what year it was, but when they fired up the Hadron Collider and did the first test, that's when the first split happened, and that's when people started experiencing the Mandela effect. But as far as 1988, I was a little too young to remember any differences. If you are slightly older than me, please, if you recall that year and what may or may not have happened, let me know. I'm interested to know about this. If that's when we started having this experience, or if it was like.
If you're ever camping alone in the forest, which is something that I started doing when I was young there, if you ever hear animal sounds that are not quite right at night, you get up and leave. Because if they're getting close to you and they don't want you to hear human sounds, they'll start communicating in animal voices. And so, yeah, there's a few guys that were out there and they started hearing like sounds that were just a little bit off. You hear like a laughing falcon sound. And then he heard the capuchins from different areas. And usually capuchin monkeys are going to be all together in one spot. And he heard it from different directions. And he was just like, he said he climbed into the river and crawled like a turtle out of that. He said he went for hours and just to escape.
I've got an even better suggestion. Don't go camping alone in the forest. That's just dumb. That's one of my top I'm not going to do it things. I don't go camping alone in the forest, and I don't go in the ocean. because stuff bites you in the ocean. And I'm not into that.
Scott Peterson was in court in this latest twist of this case. As we know, the California Innocence Project has taken up his post-conviction appeal. This is not a typical appeal. He has exhausted all of his appeals because he was convicted 20 years ago. This really centers on whether or not there was a constitutional violation, such as a due process violation, during his trial that resulted in his conviction. And the court, if they allow in this new evidence, they have to determine that it was harmless error by the evidence not coming in at trial, that it would have had no influence on the verdict. If the judge finds that it would have had an influence on the verdict, then his conviction is overturned. But we are a long way from that because they're still just doing motions about whether or not to even allow DNA testing. It sounds like there's this hammer from a robbery across the street, and then there is maybe blood stains in a burnt out van. The defense wants all of that collected and tested. And the defense says that there was evidence that wasn't even turned over to the defense. So lots for the judge to look at. I will keep you updated as the case goes along.
Personally, I don't think he's innocent. I believe that the evidence did a very good job of pinning him as guilty, but everybody is entitled to their appeals. If there is evidence that they think is necessary, they're entitled to have it presented. Don't think it's going to be enough to overturn anything because of the simple fact that the proof is in the pudding. But you know, he's got his right. Unfortunately.
Alleged continent existed in the Pacific Ocean, encompassing Hawaii, going down into some of these more Polynesian islands of Mu. The idea of Mu really came from a guy named Augustus Le Plongeon. This guy had identified Mu with Atlantis, but Churchward actually identified Mu with Lemuria. The story goes that Churchward met a high priest in India who revealed ancient information to him that was written on the lost tablets of Mu. The tablets told of Mu inhabited by the Holy Brothers. He said it sank about 12,000 years ago, and Eastern Island and Polynesian Islands are actually remnants of that.
That's the third video that I've presented, and not the third video I've seen so many videos on those, but that's the third video that I've presented that confuses the daylights out of me. Because here's like, oh, it's Mu, but it's Lemuria, but Lemuria is its own place. It's over in this segment of the world, and then Mu is here, but it's called Mu. And then there's another one. I just there's too many continents that we're missing. So I don't know if Mu is also Lemuria, which it couldn't be because Lemuria is supposed to be over by India, right? But then that's why I'm confused. I am so confused.
A newly declassified document from the CIA is causing quite a stir, with its revelations stirring up a chilling sense of dread. The document, dubbed The Story of Adam and Eve, unveils a terrifying prophecy about the end of the world that, unnervingly, is entirely coherent and plausible. The document explains that there's a polar shift involving the North and South Poles every 12 to 15,000 years, and this shift triggers cataclysmic events like colossal earthquakes and tsunamis. After this apocalypse, the world essentially reverts to a state similar to the Stone Age. The report suggests that the first humans akin to us appeared 10,000 years prior to Jesus Christ. Putting this into perspective, we're roughly 13,000 years into the timeline of these first humans, and are already witnessing significant phenomena like climate change and numerous catastrophes. The document posits that our civilization is the sixth iteration, emerging after each apocalypse. Each civilization reaches a specific point of development, after which a reset occurs. This could account for phenomena like the Sahara Desert having been a green landscape and Antarctica being forested in the past. Now, we're experiencing shifts in climate, with regions growing colder or hotter. This aligns with biblical accounts of a great flood, and possibly even the fate of the lost city of Atlantis. The presence of underwater cities would indeed make sense if those regions were not submerged in the past.
So there's believed to be at least six previous civilizations on our planet. And I mean, obviously with the cataclysmic just destruction that happens with the pole shift, there can't be much left over. That's interesting. That is really cool. And I'm kind of a little bit terrified because ultimately we're like due to have another shift. And yeah, that's a little scary, right? I guess don't think about it and just live the best days that you possibly can. Live your life to the fullest. And in the event that nothing does happen in your lifetime, at least you have an awesome life, right?
You know what the darkest conspiracy theory about aliens is?
I don't know if I'm ready for it.
That Earth is essentially a farm, and human beings are the vessels that contain souls, and they want us because this is how they create souls. And so they're farming us. They've created us. So we started off as primates, and through some sort of genetic intervention, I'm not saying I believe this, I'm just saying that this is like top of the food chain, put your tinfoil hat on super tight, that they farm us, and that the whole reason why human beings are involved in this conflict, constant conflict, it's all of it is to increase our competition with each other, increase our ability to control resources, which will increase our technology, which will ultimately lead to us creating this being that we're going to create, this artificially intelligent super god.
I don't think aliens have that much invested in us, our little planet here. And if they are here and they're checking us out, which I totally believe, I don't think they're harvesting us for souls or even waiting for us to create this AI thing. I think if they were smart enough to get themselves here, they're smart enough to create whatever kind of technology they think that we're going to create, because we're way far behind in advancement. I mean, we don't have any kind of technology to travel any great distances in short periods of time or anything like that, or even in long periods of time. We're not there. Sure, their advancements happened differently from ours, and they're probably like, what the heck is that? Because they don't have stuff like that on wherever the heck they came from. But I seriously don't think that they have that much invested in us. I think they're just kind of checking us out because they're like, ooh, what's this? Let's check it out. And that's pretty much it. Speaking of pretty much it, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Here's my cutting room floor.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going to do some looking it up and find out. No, I'm not, because I'm just going to get even more confused. There's too many noise outside, huh? That's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. All right, go lay down. Yeah, go lay down. You're okay. Thank you. Yes, I'll keep you safe. I really like how that makes my brain move. It makes my brain move. It makes my brain move. And then the future can find it and be like, hey, this is how we messed up. Don't do that. Servers, because something catastrophic happened and the planet for some reason couldn't handle it and created another alternate universe. I was around, but I was too young to notice any difference, and I don't know anybody who's like, oh yeah, totally. And that's why things are a little funny. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I've pulled an all-nighter. I mean, it's been a long time since I've pulled an all-nighter. Live every day as though it's the last. Little pearls of wisdom. I sound like a bumper sticker. That is horrific. That is absolutely awful. Oh my goodness. I don't think aliens have that much invested in our little planet. I think maybe they might be watching us, but they have their advanced directive. Here's my little Star Trek plot line here. Starting over, because that was dumb. Okay.